I love that shirt.
Well, I felt that it was like apt for.
Well, I mean, I love that, but I also love the dad shirt above it. Where did we get that?
Badwood. Hello.
Hi. How are ya?
Good. Better.
Do you want to talk about it at all or probably not?
At first, I was like, I don't want to talk about it. But then now that I've had time to process it, I want to talk about it from a different perspective.
Let's start with that then. And then we have some very exciting news. So I think we should jump into how powerful the coven is. But let's start with your weekend. Welcome to Disrespectfully
with Katie Maloney
and Dana Cathan.
Unapologetically,
we're here to do what we want to do.
Spilling the tea.
Babe, you're going to see the power of women, like
disrespectfully. My weekend was good, but also not good.
Okay.
Like I had a good time, but it was also a very illuminating time in a not so great way. I don't want to talk about the person that I spent the weekend with because I've already given that person enough pages in my like diary of life that like they don't get anymore. Like that chapter is effectively closed. But since I've been processing it, I want to like talk about it from the perspective of like sometimes, even though we know, like we learn the lessons, like you don't revisit people, like you let the people that have like hurt us or have wronged us just be ghosts, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when somebody keeps trying to resurface in your life and you keep saying, you know, not good, you just have to let them be dead. But sometimes we got to fuck around and find out.
So what did you do this weekend?
I went on a little getaway to hang out with a person who I've had a little bit of a history with. I was letting the dumb bitch in me take the wheel and steer a bit, you know, because there was a part of me, the dumb bitch in me, right? That was like, you know what? I need to just know. It was like a once and for all, like kind of like no, but also like there is that part of me that thought like, I don't know, maybe like, I don't know. I'm still that like, I don't know if it's like the hopeless romantic or that person that just like really desperately likes to give people the benefit of the doubt or situations the benefit of the doubt that like you could be the exception to the lesson or to the rule that like you just like never know or like who knows, like maybe, I don't know. I just wanted to just see. I think sometimes, even though we know better, I think sometimes we owe it to ourselves just to be a little bit messy, to be a little bit reckless. It is, you know, I think we have to understand like the risk that we take with that and understand like, you know, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me kind of thing. But if you really do need to just do that, I think you need to allow yourself to do that. I think it's already so hard to meet people, to date, to put yourself out there that just allowing yourself to be a little bit hopeless in that sense and taking those risks, even if you know that maybe it's not the best thing for you, but just to do it anyway, just to like know, just to have peace of mind, just to have clarity, closure, whatever you want to call it. I am oddly enough like proud of myself because even if like it doesn't go well or if it's hard or if it sucks or if it hurts, I try to take something positive out of it. The lesson's already been learned. The lesson was there. There was no exception to the lesson or to the rule. But I try to take something positive from these types of experiences. And I think that it's like I am in a way like so proud of myself because I have not been good at being vulnerable. And because I am trying to be like a little more soft and allow myself to like feel like that I can like put myself out there and I can still like have my like heart open and not be guarded and rigid and hardened by people that have hurt me or just hurt in general. I don't want to become that person that like doesn't want to continue to allow myself to like feel things for people or continue to want to put myself out there. So in some ways, I'm proud that I still did that. And I'm still going to continue to do that. So as much as it sucks, I still am proud that like I am able to.
I mean, sometimes my dumb bitch doesn't just take the wheel. Sometimes she's my chauffeur. So yeah. I know what you mean because the guy I dated last summer that I was like the most down bad for, I've been in a really long time. It was so passionate initially. And he wasn't one that it was like a spin the block situation. It was a one and done. But I went into that knowing it was going to fail because of our differences in how we approach dating and his past and my past. And I knew, but like, it was just something that I felt that I needed to do. And at a time in my life when honestly, I'm grateful for I needed him at that moment. And I felt that way too. Like, it's like that episode of Sex and the City when Sam goes back to her ex that hurt her, that left her for Anka, the supermodel.
Yeah.
And she's trying to just like sleep with him and dump him, but then she falls back in. And when he becomes predictable and dumps her, she says something along the lines of she hadn't progressed past having feelings and she took comfort in that. So it's like, yeah, sometimes you just need to go with it. And as long as you walk away feeling good about that you were able to stay open, then I think that's a W.
Yeah. Like I said, I definitely just felt like it was something that I needed to do, especially with this person in particular, because I just felt like there was something still keeping me like hooked to them. And it was something that like needed to like happen like in person. It needed to just be like that.
You needed to see it through.
It just needed to be that time spent just to like know. So I think we sometimes just need to allow ourselves to just do the thing that we know that maybe isn't the best thing for us, but we just need to do it. We need to just fuck around and find out.
Sometimes we need a little regression. And I also think that's part of learning and growing. And also sometimes it comparatively shows you how far you've come because you having this perspective on it now also so quickly and just being like, boom, chapter closed. You know, we can't always rely on people to give us closure, but sometimes situations give us closure. And so now it's like, you'll never look back and wonder.
Yeah. Do I have answers? No. Do I really have like closure? No. But I'm giving it to myself because I know that like once and for all, like, so not for me. This person absolutely 100% does not deserve me at all. But I deserve a lot because I'm still like willing to put myself out there knowing what the outcome could be.
Yeah, I think where I'm at, I think he's probably the last one that I'll do that with. But I think what it taught me is to stay open for new opportunities, but pay more attention. And I'm speaking in my personal experience. I just don't have that left in me. And also I ended it with him when I realized he was shifting behavior and I didn't like how I was being treated. I immediately was like, hey, I care about you. This was great, but these are the changes I've seen. Even though you're trying to convince me and gaslight me that nothing has changed, it's not going to work for me. I'm feeling more bad than good. And if I'm feeling that way, then it's just not something I'm able to participate in. See you, bye. And we never spoke again. And it was like, for me, even though it stung and was hard, I felt the same way, like proud of myself, because old me would have clung to that for dear life and let him treat me like shit. And I'm just not up for it anymore.
No
more threshold for that.
And it's not to going into things with like any kind of expectations or commitment to outcomes, but just being still open. I don't know.
Which I mean, we're on that journey together. I definitely am open, although I'm like not dating at all right now. I'm just kind of like, when I meet a new person, I do want to not bring in any of the past mistakes that I've made and people that have hurt me, and give people a chance. And the worst thing that's going to happen is that you'll get disappointed, and guess what? We've survived worse. So like, see ya. Proud of you.
Thanks. I'm proud of myself because, you know, I think it builds character.
If it builds character, then I'm fucking Winnie the Pooh, but 1 through 10. Cause
I feel like fucking Mickey Mouse right now, but, and that's the thing. I try not to like be too hard on myself because I was like, definitely like, I feel like a fucking idiot, but it's like, but no, I mean, like I knew going into it, even though I didn't have like huge expectations. I didn't know what to fucking expect, but like, that's what I mean. Like with these kind of things, I don't like to walk away feeling like regret or shame, but be like, okay, what is the valuable thing to take from this?
Yeah.
Is that I can still be soft because I'm still like, I allow myself to be vulnerable with a person that maybe didn't deserve it. Is that the best thing? No, but like I'm not becoming hardened by these experiences. And that is the valuable thing.
Sure is. Did you unfollow or soft block?
No, I'm not that person.
I know. So that has still remained the same.
I'm better at paying someone in dust than doing that. And that's what I'll continue to do.
Love.
Should we share the good news? The big news?
The big, huge, wide news.
The wine bottle size news.
The wine bottle size news. Okay. I'm convinced this is a powerful coven. If you are in our amazing audience, like we could feel the vibrations from wherever it is you're listening. We are having our first guest on Disrespectfully, and it is none other than Girthmaster.
That's right.
In studio, here with all his big hands. I don't know how we're going to fit him in the room, but we are feeling really excited about it.
Yeah, you might have to lap it.
I'm like, where'd my chair go? After I asked production to like take the chair out, like, Leia, get rid of my chair. And I'll be like, you know what? I just think I should sit Maybe I'll sit right here.
Right here. Like, wait.
Right there. Like, are you Santa? Because ho, ho, ho. Ho, ho, ho. Here's the thing. This is becoming quite the trilogy because we now, when you guys are listening to this, will have talked about him for 3 episodes, but we're so excited. Again, I just think he's a fascinating person. I think he's going to be a great guest.
Yeah,
and
you do.
We have so many questions. We have so many questions. And then super excited to do WWDD with him to get some male perspective.
Yeah.
Just kind of
what
talk
is
about the
your
things.
main question for him?
I am really curious about his journey to get to where he is. Like, as far as what did you do before you were like, you know what? I need to be Girthmaster online. Like, I'm really curious about
how did you come up with the name?
His trajectory. Yeah, exactly that. I'm I want to be like, when did you know you were special? What was your high school experience like?
Yeah, when did you have a day where you looked down and you're like, whoa?
I have to assume so. I don't know. I just have so many questions like that, and how because he produces content independently and puts it out. And I think it is the way that the adult industry is trending. And I just think he's fascinating. So there's so many things I want to know.
Yeah.
What do you want to know?
How did you come up with the name? What do your friends think? Do your friends watch? Do you have your parents watch?
I've seen in some of his videos, his parents know what he does, but
I have not watched any content. So and I don't think I will.
Well, I've watched enough for the both of us.
Okay, great. So I'm going to go in blind. You're going to be the eyes that have seen it. I want to go in just being I've only seen the TikTok. I only know what he looks like and what his hands look like. And I have seen.
I forced you.
Yeah, but I haven't seen his work.
Leia did some research.
Whoa.
I did do some research.
How was it for you?
It was shocking. It was still shocking.
Shocking. So we're so excited. And just to have our first guest. And I think that we have been clear that we were always just trying to create a sense of community. And we want these episodes to feel like you're just chatting with friends. But when someone really makes sense, we want them here. And the fact that this man lives in Australia and just happens to be here for this month and is carving out time for us. Look at God. I'm so excited.
She's really looking out for us.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, God.
We love her. Well, speaking of, so that's a very high vibrational thing. And now we have to go to a quick low vibrational and then we can pivot. I think we have to talk about the Rachel text message apology situation.
Oh, Lord. Another saga I wish was not a thing.
We never asked to be a part of. So if you do not know, Rachel, we saw her at iHeart.
We talked about it.
Okay, so from last week's episode. In terms of timeliness, she hadn't texted us when we had recorded that episode. So she texted us and it was very robotic. When
I saw her name on my phone, which is still Raquel.
Same.
By the way, I froze. I was like, oh my God. I didn't want to open it. I didn't know what the hell it was. It didn't even cross my mind.
My heckles went up immediately. I was like, should we just read it? Let's just read it.
I don't have any kids, but I do have 2 dogs. And while I love them so much, they require a lot of work.
Remember my cat with the cone?
Oh my God.
Love her. She's the best. But yeah, lots of work.
We deserve a spa day, I think. As do all the moms in our lives and in your lives this Mother's Day. And while it would cost a pretty penny to get them all massages, you can do one better. Osea.
This Mother's Day, make every day a spa day for all the moms in your life with Osea's Mega Moisture Duo.
It's a value pack of 2 luxurious body care moisturizers, the Undaria Algae Body Oil and Undaria Collagen Body Lotion, both featuring Osea's signature uplifting all-natural citrusy scent.
And right now, you can get an additional 10% off your first order with our code disrespectfully at oseamalibu.com.
I'm a huge, huge fan of the body oil.
After you do an everything shower and you just finish with those steps, body oil, collagen lotion, you just feel better about yourself.
Well, the best thing about the oil too, because whenever you say oil, someone's like, ugh, but it just sinks so beautifully into your skin and it looks glowy and radiant and it smells delicious. I feel so fresh and bright. It's very invigorating.
When you do the oil and it is so light, then the collagen lotion really just traps in all the moisture and then people are like, she glows.
After the iHeart Awards, Dana and I did our 50-part skincare routine. And honestly, it was the highlight of my night. I love the Mega Moisture Duo because it provides instant firming, hydration, and really does deliver the full body glow.
I truly feel like I'm leaving a spa every time I use Osea products.
And honestly, a good skincare routine does wonders for my mental health.
You all know by now that I love good, clean ingredients, and that's also why I love Osea's clean, seaweed-based approach to your skin and body care. Since 1996, oh, she's a millennial. Osea has been making clean, clinically proven, seaweed-infused skincare. Osea's face and body products are clean, vegan, cruelty-free, and climate-neutral certified.
Treat mom to the everyday spa experience she deserves with clean, vegan skin and body care from Osea.
Get 10% off your first order site-wide with code disrespectfully at oseamalibu.com. You'll get free samples with every order and free shipping on orders over $60. Head to oseamalibu.com and use code disrespectfully for 10% off.
Said it once, I'll say it again. I have a fear of smelling bad. And that's why I love and need Lume in my life. Lume Whole Body Deodorant is powered by mandelic acid to deliver outrageous 72-hour odor control everywhere from your pits to your feet. And yes, even your privates.
Even the hoo-ha. Finally, a deodorant for the privates. In fact, it was patients' concerns about private part odor that originally inspired the OBGYN who invented Lume. Fast forward 6 years, and her game-changing whole body deo has now earned over 300,000 five-star reviews from people like me who love smelling great and feeling confident from head to toe.
New customers get 15% off all Lume products with our exclusive code and link. Use code disrespectfully at lumedeodorant.com, LumeDeodorant.com.
My favorite part about Lume is that it was created by an OBGYN and that it's truly safe to use everywhere in your body. Pits, under boob, thigh fold, belly button, butt cracks, vulvas, and feet. I have such sensitive pH and like really pay attention to that. So I would never use a product that I didn't feel safe. And the fact that it was made by an OBGYN is just like, I keep an emergency Lume in my purse just in case I meet someone somewhere. I need to spruce it up down there. I am bringing it with me to Coachella. I use a solid stick deodorant and my favorite is the clean tangerine scent. I also love lavender sage. It's hard to pick.
I love the cream tube deodorant and my favorite is the clean toasted coconut.
She loves it.
Smells so good. And my favorite part is that it lasts so long. It says up to 72 hours and they are not lying about that. The other day I left the house and realized I forgot to apply deodorant, which that happens.
Worst feeling.
I did the sniff test and I was still fine from like the day before. I was like,
that's goblin certified. We love a product with clean ingredients. Lume is baking soda free, paraben free, and it's pH balanced for safe use below the belt, which is the most important to me.
Lume's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and free shipping.
As a special offer for our listeners, new customers get 15% off all Lume products with exclusive code. And if you combine the 15% off with the already discounted starter pack, that equals over 40% off their starter pack. That's massive. Use code disrespectfully for 15% off your first purchase at lumedeodorant.com. That's code disrespectfully at LumeDeodorant.com.
It wasn't necessarily a copy and paste situation.
Pretty close to copy and paste. Mine said, "Hi, Dana. I just texted Katie and I wanted to apologize to you both for encouraging Joe to post that article, and I'm sorry for reposting it. It was very petty and uncalled for. I'm aware of my actions and I'm working to do better. Rachel." It was just like the most, I hope this email finds you doing well. But the whole thing bothers me. So, first of all, you outed yourself. We did not know that you encouraged Joe to do that.
Yeah.
So, for me, it was just like, an apology is not an apology if you... I think that she texted us that so she could say on her podcast that she did.
Well, she did like an emergency podcast about it. First, like I don't necessarily think that whole thing like went viral. I don't think it was necessary to apologize. I don't think it was necessary to do a podcast mentioning that you apologized. And also for me, when I saw that, I was like, okay, you're apologizing for some petty internet bullshit, but I have not seen any acknowledgement, accountability, or apology for like the real torment and hurt that you brought to my life. Like, I don't give a shit about this, but like,
no.
And the thing is like, I don't enjoy apologies unless I see like modified behavior and there's like actions that follow it. So I don't really need that from her either. Like, she's not in my life, so it doesn't really matter to me. But it's just interesting that she spent any energy or time or reflection or thought to do that, but hasn't done the other stuff.
The action's not behind it, but out of all the things, that's what you choose to text us about. It was,
exactly.
the whole thing was so Twilight Zone. I had the same reaction when I saw her name pop up. My jaw dropped and I was like, what on earth are you possibly texting me about? And then in the episode, I thought it was funny. I didn't listen to the whole thing, but I, saw little snippets on TikTok, and she also was sending subtle jabs. She was like, I'm not going to stoop to those people's level. I don't know if she said there as in you and me specifically, but it was just like, first of all, you suck at apologizing. Second of all, this was not, I think, requiring an episode in general. It looked performative and was just like trying to save face. And also, like, I don't need you to tell me that you're aware of your actions and you're doing better. I want you to just do better. You got options.
But stoop to whose level? I don't talk about you.
Yeah, the only things that we've talked about, I think, were necessary, and they weren't petty, silly things. So that's fine. She can have whatever opinion of us, but I just thought the whole thing was so weird. I'm not excusing Jo for that just because you encouraged her. I don't care. She's her own person. She has autonomy. She chose to do it. So, and again, we don't give a shit about it. It was just petty and stupid. So I don't know what kind of time she has on her hands, but apparently a lot.
It just looked like she just needed something to talk about. She created an entire situation out of nothing to like literally have something to talk about. That's what it seemed like to me.
Agreed. So don't want to give it too much more life, but the whole thing was so weird. Feel free to delete my number if you ever see this. I don't need any text from you ever again. So
yeah, the moral of both the story that I began with and this one is don't talk to dead people.
You know what we should do? You should go to the graveyard in terms of the people that I'm actively in my life putting tombstones in, like, or deleting the conversation. And then instead of their contact name, just a tombstone emoji.
Tombstone, yeah.
So at the bottom, it's just the graveyard. And like, you don't have any purpose here. So I don't even know who it is. I think I should just send her there. She already lives in the basement, but
graveyard, buried,
graveyard,
6 feet deep.
Bye. So, and last thing about it, she asked her friend, the shit talking publicist, I'm guessing, if she should say hi to us. And they were like, Katie Maloney said she was going to light you on fire. Don't go talk to them.
As if I had like a flamethrower in my like clutch.
You show up like Ghostbusters.
But for real, like,
she doesn't understand an allegory, but it's just like silly goose behavior.
I was sitting there just schwitzing in the sun. I was not about to like start shit.
And we wouldn't. We're minding our own beeswax. Exactly. We want this to go away. Like
minding our own beeswax. It's funny. For real though. Like, girl, anyway.
We're minding our own beeswax. Perhaps she should try it. Did you see the conjoined twins that got married?
Yes.
People are so invasive. And by people, I mean me. Because I definitely...
How deep did you go? How invasive did it get?
Almost Girthmaster deep. Because someone... Okay, so I think that people were bothering them and asking questions. And they answered. Like, there was an article or something that they had answered a bunch of questions. So people, if you don't know, recently a conjoined twins got married to a man.
And they were like twins that have like, they've like shared their story throughout their life, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's probably why they're more open to it. And I definitely feel for them that they felt the need to do this, but it is obviously fascinating. So they got married and people were curious, like, okay, so then what does the wedding night look like? Like, people were wondering if they had separate sex organs because they obviously share a body and have two heads. No. Not according to TikTok University.
Oh. Wait, only one of them got married?
Yes.
So the other one isn't married?
No. She's in a serious relationship though. And the other one who's in the serious relationship, and the only reason I'm bringing this up is because she brought it up. They're white, so she's in an interracial relationship. And she was talking about how her boyfriend's black. And he was saying to her, because she was worried since their relationship is getting serious, about being public about it to protect him. And, they get a lot of invasive questions and whatnot. And he said to her something along the lines of, if I can bring a two-headed white woman to meet my family, I think that we're fine and it's fine that I'm black.
I understand that these are two individuals. They're conjoined, but they are two individuals. But like, how the fuck is one of them married, committed by law, and and then the other one is in another, like, how does that work? How do they split time?
I mean, they don't, but yeah. So I mean, I hope the husband and the new boyfriend get along because they're going to be hanging out a lot.
So the other one's like, okay, well, I want to go have sex with my boyfriend. Let's go.
Also,
Wow.
like when they lost their
That is
virginity,
fascinating.
It is fascinating. I wonder what that conversation was like as far as like they had to make sure they were both ready and whatnot. But it is really interesting. They share their body is one, but they are two individuals.
Do they have, so they have one sex organ?
They have one vagina.
One vagina. Do they have one uterus?
I think so. I mean, I think so because they said sex organs in general. So are you getting at kids?
Yeah.
I don't know how that is going to work. Like, how crazy is that? That also,
like, what if the married couple's like, we want to have children?
The women each have a heart and lungs, but all other organs, including their reproductive system, is shared.
I think it'll kind of be like a biological mom / surrogate situation because they're both going to have to actively participate. I think they both feel the same pleasure and pain. So it's a big commitment. And yeah, so they're married. So if they want to have kids, they're going to be having their first kids at this point. And then if the other one, whether she wants to get married or not, wants to have a child with her partner, I mean, there's a lot to navigate there.
I mean, yeah, true. I do hope the boyfriend and then the husband of the other do get along because.
Do you think it'll be like a Charlie and the Chocolate Factory situation? Like, are they all going to share a bed together? Like if they get married or even if like obviously people sleep with their partners. So like next to them. So do you think they just share a bed?
They would have to. I mean, they can't live separately. I
toss and turn like a rotisserie chicken at night because I have a hard time sleeping and can't get comfy. You do as well. So that would be hard for me to navigate with someone else of like, okay, so we're comfy, so we're both comfy, or does one get uncomfortable and they have to like flip flop? I don't know. That's the ultimate teamwork.
I'm not necessarily a jealous person, but I don't know.
I don't know. I have more questions, but I think that it's amazing that they share their story and are so open. It is fascinating.
It is fascinating because it's like, this is not conventional. It's not like what anyone could even fathom. Like, I mean, it's wow.
I wonder at any point if they have considered wanting to be separated, and it's obviously not possible for all conjoined twins, but I feel like I've heard in the past of conjoined twins that were successfully separated, but then were really unhappy because that's how they had spent their lives and had, been so close to the other one.
Well, I think it would be something that would have to happen very, very early in life.
Yeah. I don't know. They're making it work. Good for them.
I also remember hearing like when they went to school, they had to pay like 2 separate tuitions and all of that, but now they get paid like one singular salary.
If they were male conjoined twins, if it was Brad and Kyle, they'd be getting paid double.
Isn't that mental though?
Yes.
Yeah. Hooked up.
That's like those writers on that documentary we were talking about that were sharing a salary. It's excuse me?
Yeah, like how, in what world? That's what I mean. One of them can be married and not technically the other because they're 2 people, but yet they had to get 2 separate tuitions for school.
I'm guessing they have 2 social security numbers.
Right. But so why wouldn't they get 2 salaries?
Right.
They're 2 W-9s or 2 10 whatever. I don't know. W-2s or whatever paperwork is going. I don't know.
Yeah, that's really disturbing to me. And that should be the headline. Also, how they do everything. That's just, it's just we can't imagine what that's like, but it's their reality. It's their norm, their day to day. Also kind of a weird pivot. Do you know who Caitlin Clark is?
Yes.
Okay, Caitlin Clark, I'm sure you know, is an absolute legend, plays for Iowa.
Basketball.
She is now the all-time in both men's and women's collegiate basketball point scorer.
Yeah.
I know very little about basketball, but I do know that she's special and incredibly talented and deserves all the flowers. Asking a man what they think about Caitlin Clark, I think, is an excellent litmus test.
Yeah.
I just had a conversation with a man the other day about it.
What did he say?
I was less than impressed. He immediately was like, well, she's an all-time, I'm not saying she's not good. Strike one. She's only the all-time scorer because she's the best one on the team. And so they always pass her the ball and whatever. I'm like, even if that's true, numbers are numbers because you guys love statistics until it no longer fits your narrative of a woman that is absolutely crushing it at a sport that traditionally is dominated by men. And speaking of pay discrepancy, the WNBA, like starting out in the NBA, they have, multi-million-dollar contracts right out of the gate. Starting out, I think it's an average of $75,000 a year salary, which is why a lot of women in the WNBA go abroad in the off season and play there so they can supplement their salary. And I understand that it's not as watched as men's basketball. I hope that Caitlin Clark, since she's going to the WNBA, will help that. But I just thought that was so disgusting. $75,000 is nothing in a professional sport.
No, that is insane. Think about their training schedule, like the travel schedule, like that is nothing.
The physicality, they're putting on all the same work in that way.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's just, so he's the only guy I've ever talked to in person about it, but I've seen a lot of TikToks of men talking shit about her. And I'm just like, you guys, this is not it.
Hasn't she like played other men in the same sort of division and she fucking runs circles around them? I feel like I've seen videos. I feel like I kind of rabbit hold a little bit, and I don't know if I'm making this up in my head because it felt right, but like I feel like I saw like someone debunk whether or not she could actually hold her own against men in the same division. But I feel like she could run circles around dudes in the NBA. Like she's very talented.
She's very talented.
So, but yeah, I really do hate when men really when they want to apply statistics and numbers to like argue against whoever the fuck they're in the room with until it no longer fits the narrative.
I'm like, just say she's great. That's all you have to say. Like, I don't know why it's so touchy for them.
You can't argue it.
Quite literally check the scoreboard. She's just incredible. And I just am so excited for her and her career. And also, obviously, I'm sure she's getting a good contract for the WNBA, but she's going to have so many, sponsorships and whatnot. I'm very, very excited for her. Yeah, she just played her last game. I do believe her team lost, but she has so much to be proud of. And yeah, I think that's an excellent litmus test and will be for a long time.
Do we know what team she's going to in the WNBA?
Caitlin is projected as the number 1 pick, which takes place April 15th in New York. The Indiana Fever have the top pick and are expected to take Clark and pair her with 2023's top pick, Aaliyah Boston.
Congrats to her.
Fuck yeah.
Go girl.
What is a Dorito Theory?
Dorito Theory is unsurprisingly something I saw on TikTok. I saw one day I sent to you guys. It was like, get a job, clock in, do some work. When it was like, when I start every sentence with, I saw this TikTok, which is so me. So Dorito Theory is basically this girl was saying that Doritos, you know how they're good, but they're not like crazy satisfying. So it basically says who? I knew. How did I know you were going to say that?
It says no one.
Okay, well, I think she was saying as comparatively to something like a wonderful steak or like, so they're good.
Why would you compare Doritos to like well, first of all, I'm not big on steak, but like you can't compare it. It's apples to oranges.
What I think she's saying is like
apples
snack,
to apple pie. What the fuck?
A snack. She's basically like a snack food that the things that are good but not great are the most addicting things, whereas if you just let yourself have the thing that you really want, then it's over. Like then you'll stop, going back to it. And she basically was applying it to dating, which it made sense for me because like I like Doritos. I will lick the Cool Ranch. Like,
you lick it off and then you eat it?
No, I could literally like have a few Doritos and like lick it off and throw it away. I'm not a huge Dorito person.
Have you ever watched Ariana eat Takis?
No.
She does that with Takis. She will lick the dust off of it and then eat it. I never forget. This was like years ago. I was doing. I'm like, what are you doing? Like she literally was like licking the thing clean. Never seen that before in my life. No, I like to put it in my mouth, suck it, and then eat it.
Well, I wasn't raised in a barn, so I don't know that I'm like throwing them in the trash in public. But yeah, I would eat it. I just like the dust. And
okay.
Sometimes I search because I'm not a huge Doritos person. So sometimes I'll search for the dustiest ones. Like I'll look and choose sparingly.
Yeah, I want thick one.
Yeah, I want them nice and dusted, just like with buttery popcorn. Like I want the very yellow pieces.
It was soggy.
I don't want to waste time with the white ones that are like look like healthy popcorn. So basically what she's saying is it's the things that are kind of like good. This is good. Are the most addictive when if you got something that you really wanted and was delicious, you'd be full and you'd stop going back to it. So in terms of relationships, it's kind of like the breadcrumbing, I think. Of like people are not giving you much, but like it was like, oh, I had sex with that person. Like it was like, meh.
You convince yourself you're full or satisfied.
Yeah, it was good enough. But then because it wasn't great, you want it again just because it was like, well, I could do that. But if you, had something that was filling your cup, you wouldn't care as much. I don't know. It made sense to me. Maybe I'm crazy.
I've made a meal out of things that you would not believe. So I get it.
Yeah, I guess I am saying this from the perspective of someone who can fully get dinner at 7-Eleven, which I've talked about before.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, I saw a really funny meme that's like, well, it looks like it's, what was it? Jelly beans and what was it? Olive oil and gourmet jelly beans for dinner again because I buy all my groceries at TJ Maxx.
What would you do if you got dinner at someone's house and you found out they cooked you pasta that they got at TJ Maxx? I saw that someone did a TikTok and they're like, this is my favorite pasta at like Ross or something. What, they brought you over for dinner and they're like, enjoy this puttanesca. And you're like, I got that next to the discount barrel of shoes. I would eat it.
Girl, like,
but I'd be weird about it.
I wouldn't care. I tell you, I could survive off of fucking shredded cheese and like hot sauce. Like the shit I make a meal out of. And even I make a meal out of like bullshit and lies from dudes and be like, no, it's delicious. More please.
Well, I mean, for me, my childhood, stale tortilla chips with cheddar cheese in the microwave walked so 7-Eleven could run. You know what I mean? If you grew up on that meal, you can eat at 7-Eleven.
Yeah, struggle. I'm a bottom feeder. I like to like take tortilla chips that are like definitely stale, like chewy almost.
They're not supposed to be chewy. They're like the same consistency as like Haribo gummy bears.
It's gross. But I'll like break them in half, pinch a little thing of shredded cheese, dip it in hot sauce, and eat it. Dinner. So
when is the last time you did that?
Fucking last night.
True or false? I've eaten microwave fake nachos in the last month.
A few times, probably.
True. I throw some sour cream on that bitch. Louisiana or Cholula, depending on my mood. That's an entire meal.
I melt cheese on a piece of bread and I'm like,
You're like, am I Gordon Ramsay? This really is Hell's Kitchen, but I'm like.
Ina Garden called and she said, great job, girl.
Barefoot Contessa, I fucking love her so much.
I am Barefoot Contessa.
If Barefoot Contessa has no fans, I'm dead. I'm like her number one fan.
Same. A Pioneer woman called and she said, you go, girl.
This is so random and weird. My therapist, we always talk on the phone. I've been going here for 2 years. We don't do Zooms because I don't like them.
Where's this going?
Her voice, I picture her as the Barefoot Contessa. And I don't ever want to see her face because I'm assuming it's the Barefoot Contessa. That's how I picture her. Super random.
I love that.
Yeah.
What does she say about your microwave nachos, though?
She would probably say I need to do some inner child healing work.
Why?
She'd probably say I need to take a look at why I accept crumbs and a bottom feeder.
In relationships and in my diet.
What's your grossest 7-Eleven thing? And you can't say hot dog or the hot bar.
That's
talking
not
about
the
like
grossest. That's like delicacy.
Okay, so like what would you eat in there that you think other people would find weird?
I mean, it's all pretty standard shit in there. I mean, it's all like snack stuff. Why do you? Well, hold on. Why you have something that's weird?
People talk shit, and I mean, I don't typically keep.
I
those
mean,
people
I
in
don't
my
know.
life.
I like their like sandwiches that come in like the little like triangle thing. Give me an egg salad sandwich from there. Is that questionable?
That's weird. I've never even done that.
Or like I always like go for like a string cheese or like a hard boiled egg.
That's suspicious. That's fucking weird. Yeah, that's weird. Mine, people always talk shit, but I'm like, it's
protein.
That's so sus. This is not Whole Foods. It's not Erewhon. I bet you'll be on board with this.
What?
I bet you'll think this is good. Frito-Lay. Also, I keep naming all these brands. I'm like, can you sponsor us?
bean?
The bean dip.
The bean dip.
Okay, the bean dip. And I use puffy Cheetos to scoop it out and eat it. And I'm hungry. Maybe I'll stop on the way home and get it. I use Cheetos. And every time I have it, people are like, I mean, and it sounds like my cat's food when you open it. It's like that.
It looks like cat food.
It does. But I'm like, this is so delicious. I've been doing it forever.
Do you get the regular one or the chili bean dip?
Regular. I am a stan for the regular.
Do you like the Tostitos queso that's like just sitting out, not even in a just chock full of preservatives?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I would also
more
go. I would let that queso dip represent me in court. That's how passionate I am about that.
Yeah.
Do you know the other one? The queso's sexy friend, French onion dip.
Dean's?
No, it's Lay's.
Okay,
Lay's, it's in the red jar, red label.
Okay. But Dean's French onion dip.
Is that in the white tub?
The white tub.
Mm.
It has like, it's just watery on top. You got to stir it because I don't know what that is on top.
Mm. We don't need to know. Mix that shit up. So, I mean, when I get to the bottom of the bean dip, a goo comes out and I just mix it around as fast as I can. I don't want to see it. I don't want to know about it. I'm just going to eat it.
Okay. I like beef jerky. Makes your breath stink. Makes the whole room stink. Tom used to bring beef jerky on a plane and that was really upsetting for everyone around us. The whole plane.
It's like The Office when Oscar and Michael on our plane. He's like, I bought some egg salad sandwiches. And he's like, why don't you pick a stinkier food? Next time bring a bag of baby poop.
What is the worst food you could drink? Okay. Anything with onions, like deviled eggs, maybe.
Yeah, a boiled egg of any kind. But I would house an entire plate of deviled eggs.
Deviled eggs, yeah.
Down the hatch.
Ooh, I love a deviled egg.
And it's just like, let's take a hard-boiled egg, which is already stinky and a problem, and add mayo to it. And then now I can eat 40. Like, it's like when people talk about mozzarella sticks and they're like, hey, do you want 5 string cheeses? And you're like, no. And they're like, do you want us to put them in breading and deep fry them and then you want to eat them? And you're like, yeah. Absolutely.
As an appetizer, a precursor to a meal? Yes.
I'm literally tearing up.
I know that, like, appetizers are insane. Especially at a bar.
Yeah.
Mozzarella sticks?
We get them every time though.
Yeah. Because they're delicious.
They're great.
I wish I would have came up with it. I'd be rich.
Inventor of appetizers. My father, the inventor of toaster strudel.
My father, the inventor of the mozzarella stick. Me, the inventor of the mozzarella stick. No shame in my game. I wish I invented the Buffalo Blast from Cheesecake Factory. I wish I invented the Cheesecake Factory.
Did you see my TikTok about the different chain restaurants? You never watch my TikToks?
Yes, I do. I watch all of them. There's like at any given time, there's like 400 waiting for. But I go through them. Which one?
I plead the fifth. I'm not confirmed or deny.
Mexican Applebee's. Yes.
So basically, it went through all the chain restaurants, and we've diverted so far off the Dorito thing, but you get what I'm saying. They basically said Applebee's is the first chain restaurant, and they're all different flavors of Applebee's. So it's like Olive Garden, Italian Applebee's, Chili's, Mexican Applebee's, cheesecake, fancy Applebee's. I agreed with all of them.
Olive Garden, Italian Applebee's, Crackle Barrel, Jim Crow Applebee's.
And it's funny because it's fucking true.
Under the Sea Applebee's, Red Lobster.
Under the Sea Applebee's being Red Lobster is one of the funniest ones. And then Yeehaw Applebee's, which is Texas Roadhouse. And then Jim Crow Applebee's.
Which is Crackle Barrel.
Crackle Barrel. I just think that 20% of this podcast is talking about chain restaurants, and I'm not particularly upset about it.
Who would be?
People who think they're above chain restaurants, which is so crazy. They're just so consistent. And honestly, I'd say that's where I get the majority of my appetizers. Like if I go to a nice restaurant, I guess sometimes, but I'd say consistently 100% of the time at any of those aforementioned, I'm getting an appetizer and it's usually mozzarella sticks.
Because the only thing that you get at a fancy restaurant as an appetizer is like a tableside Caesar.
And you don't trust the lettuce at any of these restaurants, so you don't want that. I'm like, I trust the fried breaded cheese. Give me the goddamn potato skins with all the fixings.
Oh my God, loaded.
I'm hungry. Are you hungry?
My stomach is growling.
Do you want to go to lunch after this?
For sure. I love Honeylove.
Love.
I wear their bras literally every day. I remember before finding Honeylove, the first thing I would do when I get home would be like rip my bra off immediately. And I get home and I just like sit on my couch and I do my thing. And I don't even like notice that I'm wearing a bra.
Not only are they so comfortable, but they're also super supportive. It's hard to find a bra that does both. And I'm so glad that Honeylove has come into my life because I formerly am anti-breast prison. We all know this. But Honeylove's best-selling crossover bra has been my new go-to. Plus, the mesh detailing adds a little sexy touch. So it's still cute.
Mm-hmm. I used to dread going to formal events because I knew shapewear would have to be involved and that I'd be in for a night of not breathing and shifting around and all that. But Honeylove shapewear, it's different.
Do you know where I just wore the shapewear?
iHeart.
To iHeart.
Yeah,
yep.
You did.
So comfy, smooths everything out. We love her. Not only does it work, but like their bras, the shapewear is surprisingly comfortable. Like we obviously were in some uncomfortable situations, but physically I was super comfortable the whole time I was there. You wouldn't expect that out of shapewear. They have incredibly comfortable tanks and leggings for everyday support. And I love a good pair of leggings.
Support for today's episode comes from Honeylove. Honeylove has revolutionized the bra game. Say goodbye to underwire without sacrificing lift. Honeylove's bras features supportive bonding that eliminates the need for uncomfortable wires. Plus, they're made with fabric that's so soft it feels like a second skin.
You'll immediately see and feel the difference. It's It's so next level comfort, you'll forget you're wearing it. It's time to spring clean your bra drawer. Ugh, the bra drawer is so scary. Your bra and under, you gotta take a look in there, okay? Bats are gonna come out also. For a limited time only, you can get Honeylove on sale. Get 20% off your entire order with our exclusive link, honeylove.com/disrespectfully. Support our show and check them out at honeylove.com/disrespectfully.
Honeylove has you covered for the everyday look, workouts, weddings, and more. Honeys, you need this in your life. You've earned it.
Treat yourself to the best bras on the market and save 20% off at honeylove.com/disrespectfully. Use our exclusive link to get 20% off.
After you purchase, they ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Again, that is 20% off at honeylove.com/disrespectfully. Honeys, you deserve this.
Yeah, you do.
Or tableside guac. Anything tableside? Yes, please. But at fancy places, a shrimp cocktail.
Imagine if they came out with like tableside potato skins. Like they come out with the green onions and they do the Salt Bae and they're just like
bacon bits. Dollop of daisy. Bacon bits. Scallions.
Do you know that Applebee's taught me when I was a teenager to put shredded cheddar in Kraft? That is where I learned to do that. And now I make the best Kraft Blue Box macaroni and cheese on planet Earth. Always add real cheese.
And
hot dogs.
And cream cheese.
Never done that.
Whoa.
Sexual.
Really? Add cream cheese.
Okay.
Really elevate that shit.
I believe it.
Not too much though. Just enough to like really get it like nice and thick. I don't even do like milk anymore because I never have milk.
I do butter. Extra butter.
Butter. I'll save a little bit of the pasta water.
Should we start a cooking show?
Dude, if I filmed, and the sad thing is like I can actually make a couple things like pretty well. Like you've tasted some of the things I make, 2 of the things.
You made, what is it, that fucking restaurant in New York, Miami?
The
Carbone.
Yeah.
You made that Carbone spicy rigatoni.
Sure.
And by the way, I don't even think I ever told you this. You sent me the recipe and I tried it. I think I added too much heavy cream. It was basically like I was nursing directly off a cow's udder. It was disgusting. Yours was so good.
Yeah, no, because I can do sauces like really well.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's all about the sauce, right? So that's the one thing I can do. Like pasta, let me fuck up a sauce in a good way. Like not mess it up, but like I'll fuck it up in a nice way. And then like that like salmon salad thing. But like everything else goes in the air fryer or I'm just like bottom feeding from like whatever's in my refrigerator. We did like a cookie show of like this because Dana's like slice up the glizzy. Before.
Also, I'll be Frank's Oscar Mayer. I'm very particular about my hot dogs going mac and cheese, and the thin sliced is the key. Okay, Leia just said ketchup. I do that occasionally. I like the foundation of the perfect Blue Box is the same, which for you, I guess, is cream cheese. For me, is shredded cheddar, lots of butter. But then sometimes I eat it with peas in it, which freaks Raleigh out. But I think it's so good. Like when I'm feeling that way.
I like it.
The holy grail for me, my death row meal would be probably Kraft mac and cheese and hot dogs. That is the most comforting thing to me on planet Earth. It is so good. It is my childhood in a bowl, which speaks to how dysfunctional I am, I'm sure. But I just think let's start a TikTok series in which we cook disgusting things from 7-Eleven, but make them elevated because we're good at that.
Anything you can get at 7-Eleven will make a questionably delicious meal. It'll be delicious, but like
also maybe a tour on like an ode to Anthony Bourdain. We'll go to all the Applebee's, different kinds of Applebee's restaurants, and we'll do our order.
Here's our stale nachos.
Some of you didn't eat microwave nachos growing up, and it shows.
Some of you have not been snacking on. No, here's my nachos, but it's all the broken pieces.
You got to get extra cheese to connect them.
Just the shards.
They could cut a bitch.
This bag has been sitting in my pantry for a few weeks.
Okay, you invented mozzarella sticks. Do you know what I invented?
What?
Girl dinner. Got no credit. Now it's just become a thing. It's a trend. We have a name for it. But I've been eating girl dinner since I moved out.
I've just been calling that dinner. Thanks for cutesing it up for me.
They're genderizing it. How dare they?
Tom used to call it bottom feeding. I've been calling it dinner. Girl dinner, sure, whatever. I've just been calling that feeding. What is going on? I didn't even drink last night.
I didn't either.
So this is...
We're going to at lunch though. That's what I know.
This is raw.
You're basically saying we're fresh as a daisy. I don't know where I thought this episode was going to go because we had things to talk about, but like I'm happier here.
I
I think
needed
it's our most authentic self.
I really just needed to like laugh more than anything because, you know. And then you know what we should do? We should tag Gordon Ramsay and have him like maybe he'll stitch it. Because you know how he does that
I love
on
when
like
he does
TikTok
this.
sometimes?
He loves a good beef Wellington. He finds a good beef Wellington and he is just jazzed.
Beef Wellington, 7-Eleven. I don't even know how that would be possible.
We'd figure
Hot
it out.
dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Hot dogs, and what would the crust be? Like a hot dog bun?
Probably a hot dog bun, like rolled out nice and thin. And then it's like for the mushroom puree, like probably the bean dip. That would serve as that layer. We could like lattice a bun for the presentation.
Oh, yeah. We'd have to like
roll that shit out
roll
with
it with the rolling pin.
I think it'd be fun to go into 7-Eleven with fresh eyes. Like this is giving me inspo.
Summertime always reminds me of 7-Eleven because that was like my spot. Hanging out at 7-Eleven, go in there, no shoes,
Slushies.
ride my bike there, go in there, get a Slurpee, foot long, so maybe a blow pop or two.
How did we miss that in the last episode? The Slurpee in the summertime is like the most nostalgic.
Would you do like one flavor or would you layer the flavors?
I would layer. And I would always do the same thing. I loved
What was on top?
cherry.
What was on the bottom?
Coca-Cola.
Mm.
So I go back and forth. I was never a blue gal. I was never.
Yeah.
I wanted the cherry because we weren't allowed to have pop growing up. So
The Coke Slurpee was so revolutionary.
we invented that too. We are pioneers. We're going to change this to Pioneer Women. That's the
And
new
remember on
podcast name.
July 11th, 7-Eleven, you could get a free Slurpee.
They are 99 cents and people were feral. And by people, I mean us. For a free Slurpee, it was just chaos.
7-Eleven was so fucking sick growing up. Like, cause I didn't have like money. I couldn't go to like restaurants or anything like that. So like I could take my $4 that I had from my allowance set and go fucking wild in there.
I was a heels of the bread sandwich person growing up. Peanut butter and honey, heels of the bread. We have food at home. That was the food that was at home.
Heels
Beanie weenies. That's what you get.
Loaf heels. Yeah, but no, I mean, I get my Charms Blow Pops, 25 cents.
Mm,
You know, maybe some Reese's cups.
mm.
Fucking 7-Eleven. So I was so rich in there. It was stupid.
You walk into 7-Eleven with $2.75. You're literally a king.
Wealth.
They're like, who is she?
Money bags. Also, do you know what's funny? My mom, for whatever reason, every like Christmas, there would be like a Santa Claus at the 7-Eleven. So that's why I went to go see Santa Claus.
What?
I shit you not.
Where did he sit?
I don't know. Somewhere in 7-Eleven. I remember going to visit Santa Claus at 7-Eleven.
Are you sure?
I swear to God. Ask my mom.
Should we call your mom and ask? I don't believe you.
Do you,
Yeah, let's call your
Sure.
mom.
hopefully she answers.
Hello there.
Hi, I have a really quick question. We're podcasting right now.
Hi, Mom.
Hi.
Mom, did you ever take me to see Santa Claus at 7-Eleven?
Yes.
Okay. Dana didn't believe me.
I don't believe her.
Where did he sit?
Where
Yeah.
where would he be sitting in the 7-Eleven?
I think it was in the front of the store in one of those like velvety chairs that they do.
Okay. So yeah, but
Yeah.
in the 7-Eleven.
Okay, but then my question, Terry, is did you then take her to the mall to see actual Santa, or was that the only Santa she got?
Oh no, yeah. Of course we went to the mall. Anywhere where there was a Santa.
But still, 7-Eleven
Okay.
Santa is iconic.
That was just convenient. It was right up the street.
Yeah, no, I'm just talking about how like that 7-Eleven was pretty like poppin'.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time in that 7-Eleven.
I took you there on Slurpee days too when they gave away 3 Slurpees. Remember that?
I just spent
yeah.
a lot of time in that 7-Eleven. Let's just face it.
We've been talking about 7-Eleven for most of this episode, Terry. So
Oh, are you podcasting right now?
Yeah.
yeah, you're going to be on the show. Say hi.
Oh, hi.
Okay, I gotta let you go.
Okay. Bye. Love you.
Bye.
I love you.
Love you.
See?
Okay, so you're not a liar.
Okay, so it was my only Santa Claus visit. But
No, I wish it was. That would have been even better if your mom was just like, get in the car, we're going to 7-Eleven.
no, and then across was the Pizza Hut.
Which you all are haters about. We have found out that those at NV Media think they're above Pizza Hut. We're not.
On the last episode of Vanderpump Rules, like we were eating like, I don't know if
It was Pizza Hut.
yeah,
I
we were
remember.
eating Pizza Hut. People were like, Pizza Hut.
You guys, that day is what made me remember how good plain cheese Pizza Hut is, and now it's all I get.
Do you know what's the best form of it is when you get that personal pan, that little fucking tiny ass pizza.
Oh yeah.
The way it just is like compact, the way that dough the way that it all just sits together. I don't know. I don't know if it's just like the nostalgia of it all, but like I truly miss like an actual Pizza Hut.
Yeah. I mean, but I'm glad that they still are somewhere so we can get them because I love them.
So that was fun.
Okay. Well, I don't know what this episode is, but who's in your basement this week?
No shocker here, but person I hung out with this last weekend is in my basement. No explanation needed.
No explanation needed. My basement this week is not a person. And I kind of was like you. I was having people have been not pissing me off as much, but late fees for workout classes. If you cancel, I'm sorry, Los Angeles, get a grip. They are $20 to $25. You're already spending that amount to go to the workout class. Do you know how much life changes in 12 hours? I'm not even the same person I was yesterday. So like you never know. And I already pay for an unlimited Pilates membership, which is very expensive here. And then I'm just racking up those fees. So anyway, basement.
Ugh, I mean, I get it because it's like, you know, the spots fill up and then you're holding, you know, but it's like, there's people that would still drop in last minute.
That's what I'm saying. So it should be like 5 hours because even people are still checking up until the class is going. So like, I think 12 hours is egregious and you're a criminal and I'm going to keep paying it because I'm going to keep going. But I am upset every time.
You spend more money just not going.
Literally.
Oh, well, damn. Should we do some Heuxmetown Hero?
Let's do some Heuxmetown Heroes. Caroline says, hey girlies, really loving Disrespectfully and getting a window into y'all's friendships. Girlfriends have had such an incredible impact on my life, and it's amazing seeing y'all model this in such a fun way. Okay, so a couple years ago, I was bar hopping with some friends, and as we were walking to another bar, a guy driving a pedicab biked up to us, started chatting me up, and asked me for my number. In my friend group, I wasn't the one that got hit on often, so I was excited because he was cute and figured I'd go for it. He and I decided to go on a hike for our first date.
Oh.
Boo.
Ew.
When he picked me up in his car, both he and the car were in a pretty rough state. His car was messy, didn't smell great, and he had some visible cuts and bruises on his face. He proceeded to tell me that he was a substitute teacher by day and amateur MMA fighter by night. Did this throw me? Yes, but I guess I was still optimistic at this point. He also drives a pedicab, so what job does this man not have?
Right.
We get to the hiking trail, and once we're in an area alone, he gets pretty handsy, and I realize he's planning to spend most of our hike making out. I tried to disentangle and ask questions to get a conversation going for a few times, but to no avail, he kept trying. Once enough time had passed, I started hinting that it was time to take me home, and he asked me to stay, acting disappointed. Once we get to the car, he tries to kiss me again and takes his time unlocking the car door. Once in the car, he moves in to kiss me again and takes his time even trying to start the car. At this point, I'm getting pretty irritated, so I looked him in the eye with a smile, of course, and told him he needed to start the car and take me home. Finally, he took me back to my apartment, and after saying a civil goodbye, I never talked to him again. It wasn't until I told this story out loud to my roommates and seeing their faces that I realized this behavior was pretty creepy. One of them pointed out that I easily could have been murdered on the hiking trail. Needless to say, I definitely thought twice before accepting rides on the first date going forward, and I share the story as a PSA to anyone going on a hiking date with a stranger. When I'm sure there are normies out there, I'm still pretty skeptical of any pedicab drivers in general. Girl.
Yeah, don't go to secluded areas with strangers.
The reason I chose this one is because we were both just talking about our disdain of not only hiking, but hiking dates. And when I was thinking about how much I didn't like hiking, I was more thinking about the fact that I'm out of breath and not in cardio shape. I didn't even think about the fact that you could just be murdered. I'm like, okay, so you guys were in a desolate area doing a hike.
I think we think about like in LA, like someone going like, let's go to Runyon Canyon,
Right.
or like, let's go to Griffith, or like, let's go, you know, like where they're like more populated hiking trails, you know?
She sounds like she was in the Redwood Forest or something with this man. And also, mistake number one, you let him pick you up from your house. And again, she's obviously learned from it and tells it as a cautionary tale. Please, 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 when you do not know someone, do not tell them your address. Do not let them pick you up ever, even if it's the gentlemanly thing to do, whatever. Even if they offer to get you an Uber, which has happened to me a few times, that's nice. But then they still have your address. So until you know who someone is, do not let them come to your house. And also, I hate that she even had to highlight that she had to say with a smile, like, please take me home, because she's trying not to make him mad. And it's like, it's obviously you weren't into it and he kept persisting. And I'm furious for you. And I wish that you could have been in the position to be like, get fucked, goodbye. But
oh God,
glad nothing happened to you, and be wary of pedicab drivers, I guess.
Yeah, no matter how cute they are. Okay. Lauren. I'll start by saying I'm 29 and newly single for the first time in 8 years. I've been a little unhinged from a breakup. Who isn't? And an absolute trollop in the streets for the last few months. A girlfriend and I went out to dinner to a new hip restaurant that was naturally pretty busy. Trigger warning, Katie. The owner of the restaurant was pretty hot and frequently came by our table to chat with us and eventually asked me out for drinks. The first time we hung out, he picked me up from a Super Bowl party and we went back to his restaurant. He had a cute table set up for us, had the chef make us a few things, and then kicked everyone out of the restaurant and we were completely by ourselves. We were definitely vibing, and eventually he threw me on top of the bar and we started hooking up. It was a little sloppy, but I chalked it up to the fact that I had been drinking all day from the Super Bowl festivities, and so had he probably. Nonetheless, it was super hot, but I made it clear we would not be going all the way in his restaurants. Like, cameras, hello. Yeah, no kidding. The next time we hung out, I went over to his place. We walk in to see the most god-awful art hanging up everywhere and like a little bit of a hoarder situation. We drank wine and played games on his couch and naturally start to hook up. This time, the sloppiness was even worse. I can really only describe it as a wide mouth kisser. He opened his mouth way too big and his tongue was all over my face. So much so, I had to move his head down to my neck for him to kiss because I couldn't take it. We are still fully clothed at this point, kissing and dry humping, and all of a sudden, he's moaning and groaning in my ear. I thought to myself, there's absolutely no way what I think just happened. He gets up and we both look down, and sure enough, through his sweats and on my leggings is a huge oyster of cum. I didn't want to make him feel weird about it because obviously he was really horny and maybe it had been a while, but this man was well into his 40s, and in my opinion, coming in his pants should not be happening. He never got up to clean his mess, and I was left with splooge all over my clothes. So I got out of there as fast as possible. He inevitably got ghosted.
He didn't get up to clean up the mess? He didn't offer you a hanky?
No.
Chivalry's dead.
That is basement behavior. That is, I'm sorry, what? Okay, I was trying to picture like that happening, and it's like, it's so...
Through the pants. You're backed up. What is happening? What?
Has that ever happened to you?
Not through the pants, but I would say when it has happened, yes, it has. It didn't go through the pants. It was just like clear that it had happened. Like if you're like getting there and you haven't like hooked up yet, but yeah, it's never great. It's not a good sign.
Yeah, no kidding. But then to like him not be like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom, like, can I get you something?
That's crazy.
Like maybe he was just like that embarrassed and just how awkward.
Has it ever happened to you?
Probably, I feel like maybe, but like not recent years, obviously. Like but maybe like when I was like a lot younger.
I'm not like a traditional woman, but I think the bare minimum, if you come on someone's leg, you should get them a paper towel.
At least a tissue.
Crazy.
Something. You are a hero.
You are a Heuxmetown hero, that's for sure.
All right, well then, on that note, we'll get into some WWDD. Hannah says, hi ladies. First, I'd like to say how much I love the two of you. You're both such badass bitches, and I'm hoping you can share some of that with me. I've been with my boyfriend 6.5 years, and I'm just not happy. We've been through a lot together, and honestly, none of it has been that enjoyable. Oh no. We live together, but the house is in his name, so I've been applying for apartments. And I got approved for one I absolutely love. I love my boyfriend, but I'm not happy. We have terrible communication because he tends to blow up a little bit. Nothing physical, but just loud and so angry. So I'm just unsure how to say this to him. How do I start this conversation? I'm ready to move on and live life for myself. Sorry for rambling. I'm stoned because stress. Truly love you both. Thanks. 6 years, you're not happy to the point that you're moving. Like you already know what you're doing. And I think you don't need to be worried about his anger, even though that is obviously worrisome. But like, I think you just rip the Band-Aid off. Yeah,
I think the first red flag to me is the fact that you're literally scared to have that conversation because of his temper. So first of all, you're making the right decision. Proud of you. Mm-hmm. And yeah, happy for 6 years. That is,
I don't even think it's a conversation.
11 months too long.
Like she's saying, how do you start the conversation? I don't even think it's a conversation. I think you just tell him, I'm leaving.
Yeah, I think you try to keep it short and sweet. And also depending if he gets angry or sad, if he like tries to pull you in and engage you more, all you really owe him is a conversation, just telling him like, hey, I'd like you to know I am not happy. I haven't been for a while. This isn't going to work for me. I wish you all the best. And then wait to see what he says. Like, maybe don't get stoned before so you don't ramble.
No, yeah.
I'd say keeping it short and sweet is probably your best bet, and just be very direct, very clear. Don't like waver and like, well, I'm thinking about things, whatever, just say like, this is over for me. I'm moving on with my life. Take care. And if you're truly worried about your safety, which doesn't necessarily sound like you are, then you need to do it in a public place.
Yeah, public place, and maybe have a friend with you or
like in a car nearby.
By like definitely have a plan in place if you're worried about the temper, things escalating. But I think not asking him questions or for him to weigh in on things, but just say like, I've already made up my mind. I'm moving out. I have an apartment. Maybe have already moved if you could. Like, I'd like be like, have your ducks in a row.
Yeah, I was going to say too, maybe get at least your valuables or most important things out of the house already. Because also, if someone is screaming at you or getting really angry, that usually leads to escalating behavior and you don't want to stick around to see how that pans out. So maybe he does have a big reaction and you just want, first and foremost, most important that you're safe, but then also things you care about. You don't want to like leave that up to chance. So definitely get your ducks in a row and get out of there.
Yeah, like if he goes to work, maybe use that time to like move the things out. Like it's already been 6.5 years. You already know this. Like take some time, plan ahead, get yourself in order, then just let him know it's done. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and it's like that, age old saying that's like, what, you think I won't make a scene because you're doing this in person? No, he can make a scene, but it needs to be, or in public. Like it needs to be in public though, so you have a chance to get away. But yeah, sorry that's happening to you.
But you're going to be happy. So there's that to look forward to.
Yep. Anonymous says, my ex and I still live together and we've tried to be friends, but it's not working. I know this is super toxic, but we broke up like 3 years ago and just stayed roomies because of expensive rent in LA, 2 beds, 2 baths. That and friends with benefits, kind of, until I started catching feelings and they're not into it. I don't want to be friends with them since I feel like they're taking advantage of me and I'm just over it. Is it rude to just cut them off, move in my own apartment, etc., even if I know they can't afford to move by themselves? I think with time we can potentially be friends, but for now, I just need time to heal and move on. Hee hee. I know this is long, but SOS help. No, you do not need to feel bad for them. You never need to keep yourself in a toxic situation just because someone else's finances are not your worry. There's solutions to that. They can get a roommate. They can move to a less expensive city. I understand that you have compassion and that's a good thing to have as a person, but like, if this is toxic for you and you need space to heal, it's never going to happen while you're living in the same place as them.
Absolutely not. Obviously, you have feelings for this person, so you're considering their feelings and well-being way more than you should be, and possibly even more than you're considering your own. And they're not. They're not considering yours. So
they don't care about you. It sounds like.
Need to consider that they're like, if they're not into you, they're not into this relationship, making it work, trying to like whatever, then don't worry about what happens to them. I mean, you don't want to see them in the streets, obviously, but I think you need to just prioritize yourself and only worry about what's next for you and how to take care of yourself and move on from this and heal from this and not be worried about like where they're going to live and if they can afford it, like they can take care of themselves.
You can be considerate of their feelings, but also not allow that to dictate how you operate and to choose that over yourself, which is what you're currently doing.
Yep.
So goodbye. They need to figure it out themselves. Please move away from them.
Yeah. Friends with benefits with an ex.
Yep.
Anonymous says, I'm 32 and have no desire to have children. I'm an age gap girly and my amazing boyfriend is 50 with 2 older sons, 18 and 16. And when we got into the relationship, we knew that we didn't have plans for children. Being a fur mama to my amazing 10-year-old chihuahua is enough for me. The unconditional love she gives me fulfills my maternal aspirations, but my parents, still married, will not let the fact go that I don't want to have children of my own. It is a constant guilt trip when the topic of kids come up. In a recent trip back home, I asked my dad what's his biggest fear, and his response was not living to see my grandkids. And it truly puts me in this position of feeling like my parents won't be proud until I birth my own child. All of their friends are becoming grandparents, and my friends are having kids, and it's a constant comparison. If you have any advice on this and how to approach the conversation with them, I would be so grateful.
Can I just say, point blank period, if you are someone that wants children, please do not have children because you're expecting things of your future children, for them to be your caregivers in old age, for them to have their own children, for them to go to college, for them to be a cis individual. Like that is so antiquated and really unfair of your parents to have those expectations. So first of all, I'm very sorry. Also, your dad should have much bigger fears. That's crazy. Me personally, I don't know the relationship you have with them, but I would sit them down and say, I am letting you know I do not want children. I am child free by choice. I have an amazing partner. This is the life I want. And what you should want for me is what makes me happy. And this is what makes me happy. What doesn't make me happy is feeling like I've let you down because I'm not fulfilling something that you want for your life. So I'm sorry. Go talk to a therapist about these feelings of grief you had, that life is not going to look the way that you thought it would. But I'm not going to have children to make you happy. So feel free to just scratch that off the list and never say it to me again.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more, because there's already enough societal pressures and peer pressures of people around you doing the things that we think would be expected of us to like really try to maintain the decisions that we feel like are best for ourselves or what we really want out of our lives. And yeah, when people try to picture what your life is going to look like, and you like picture that you're going to have kids and then they're going to have kids and their kids are going to have kids, without factoring to the fact that your kids are going to grow up and become their own individual, free-thinking people and want their own kind of life. And you should be proud of them for whatever decisions they want to make that are going to be best for themselves. And if not having children is one of them, you should be proud of them for that.
Calls coming from inside the home. Your parents don't get to treat you this way or give you a guilt trip just because they're your parents. It's like, that's something that's wonderful about becoming an adult and just realizing you don't have to accept treatment from anyone. If they then don't respect your boundaries, then you'll have to make choices as to if you want some distance or whatever. But yeah, they don't get to do that. And I think it's amazing that you know that you don't want children and you're not going to have them just because society would expect that of you.
Yeah, I think it's just being firm and tell them that this is my life and my choice. Sorry.
Boundaries, babe.
Tell them to get a dog if they need a little baby or something.
Get them an iguana. Sure, that'll go well. Put a terrarium in their house and see how they like it.
Get them a puppy.
Anonymous says, Katie and Dana, I'm so thrilled you finally started your podcast. I've been waiting, LOL. I'm curious on your opinions of having to tell your partner what to do in order for them to help out. Me and my partner are 27, just got engaged. Like my fiance is always willing to do things without hesitating, but only if I ask first. I swear if I didn't ask, I would do every household chore for the rest of our lives, and he probably wouldn't even realize he never helped. Dishes, laundry, spot cleaning, wiping of countertops. I could clean the entire kitchen and he would go to bed with crumbs all over the counter and a plate in the sink. It drives me crazy. How can I initiate the conversation with him about helping more without me having to always ask him and sounding naggy? I love him, but I want him to be my 50-50 partner and not my child for the rest of our lives. Disrespectfully. Lack of sweat equity shared by partners leads to so many divorces. This is a common thing. And I think that when you're going to start a life with someone, if you guys are engaged, these are conversations that need to happen now.
This is also when the weaponized incompetence comes in as well, because he's simply acting as though he can't or doesn't know how. And you've probably early on in like the dating phase or something like that was like trying to like come across as like, oh, I can take care of you. Like and I don't know, maybe not, but like I know when you're trying to be appealing to someone, you want to like be appealing in a lot of different ways. You want to like show something you can take care of them, and like you kind of fall into like these patterns with people, but then you become their mother, and that is so not sexy and not something you want to establish at any point in a relationship. And I guarantee that he at some point has had to take care of himself. I don't know what his bringing up was like. Or maybe he had a mom that just did all that stuff for him.
Let's just be very clear. It's not going to get better.
No.
If you get married and time goes on and you don't establish these boundaries now, it will not get better. It's going to get worse. And then what's going to happen? It's going to build resentment in you, and it'll just keep ping-ponging, and then he'll be resentful that you're resentful, and it'll just keep going and going. So you're asking how to start the conversation. I don't know. Everyone's different. But again, we're very direct. So I would just sit him down and say, hey, I know this seems like a little thing, but it really matters to me. I prefer our living space to be clean, and I cannot be always the one that's doing it or having to remind you, because it does make me feel like your mother, and then I don't want to bone you. So I think that it's just best to be direct and then see if it improves.
Yeah. And I think it's just and also phrasing in a way that like I don't want to like be nagging. I don't want to like have to like ever have to bring things up. If you phrase it like that, where it's just like you want to get ahead of it, so it's not doesn't become this thing where you are nagging. So he's like, oh, I don't want to be nagged.
Totally.
Just a thought. But I think, yeah, just bringing it up in a way that it's not confrontational, that it's just like, hey, wouldn't it be great if like we could just both be taking care of the stuff around here so I don't have to like bug you about it and we're both just contributing to this household. Start there, see what he says. If he doesn't get it or plays stupid, maybe consider that.
And to be fair, you're 27. I was a slob kebab truly until I was 30. I was a bad roommate. I apologize to all my former roommates. His dishes in the sink, whatever. So, but awareness is key, and hopefully he figures it out for you. Keep sending in the WWDDs and Heuxmetown Heroes, please. Keep them as short and sweet as you can at disrespectfullypod@gmail.com.
Yeah. And I think also with like the hometown is hometown and the subject, WWD subject.
Yes, that would be very helpful in all of the subject lines if you would identify what you're writing in for. Love ya.
That's it.
That's our show. I have to pee. I gotta go.
Okay.
Love you.
Love you.
Babe, you're gonna see the power of women. Like,
Disrespectfully.